behind me. Okay. They're so awkward to watch later. So here we go. Your notes are on the back, and obviously I wrote them myself because they're all weird. So here's what, you can just watch this for a minute. This is off the starter. I'm going to do number 1 on the starter again, and I'm showing you what we're doing that's different tonight. And it's not a whole lot, and you're going to be like, really? That's it? You made it sound like it was so weird. So here's what you would do. Hopefully you did this. You set factors of 40 that make negative 14, and you're so smart. You all went negative 4, negative 10, and you went x minus 4 and x minus 10. You were a genius, and you set it equals 0. Now, what you probably did is you shortcutted it, and you said, oh, the opposite of negative 4 is positive 4, and the opposite of negative 10 is positive 10. Let me remind you, though, what you really did, but you didn't really have to. What you really did is you said this, x minus 4 equals 0, because it does, and x minus 10 equals 0, because it does, and we just kind of learned a shortcut because no one wants to do all this extra math. But that's okay because it totally is valuable and it works, so yay. But that's what we actually did. The only new piece that we're adding in today is this. We are going to have more parentheses because these guys are polynomials. So we might have not 2 different answers. We might have 4 different answers. And that's all that's really different, is we're just going to be adding in more and more answers. So I'm breaking it down into 2 steps today. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to have us practice when it's in the parenthesis form, sucking our answers out. And then the second part, I'm going to practice giving a polynomial like this, and for you to get it like that. Okay? So here we go. We start off nice and easy. It's example 1. The first examples are so easy, you're going to be like, do I really need to write this down? And you don't, you can just see what's going on here. So the first thing I want you to realize is this. The number of x's tell us the number of answers. So on your homework, it actually asks, the first question is, how many answers are we expecting? And that's you're going to think, why is she asking that? And that's because on a test, it's really easy to get rolling really fast and forget to write down all your answers. So before we start this problem, we want to think, how many answers should I be expecting? 1, 2, 3. I better get 3 different answers. So let's see if we can find 3 answers. Well, the first one is going to be really easy. What's the opposite of positive 5? Negative 5. Awesome. How about the opposite of negative 3? Positive 3. And the opposite of negative 8 is 8. And if you're thinking, seriously, like, that's it? It kind of is. It kind of is, right? I know. You know me, I lobster you. We start off with the water cold. So here we go. We're going to step up our game a little bit. Let's get rid of this. Let me get rid of this guy. Move out of here, dude. Let's bring this guy down. Okay. Little bit different. Not a whole heck of a lot different, but a little bit. So what's important to note here is how many answers. This is where it's important to count, because I have 1, 2, 3, 4 x's. So I am looking for 4 answers. So I'm going to get 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, and 1 here. I'm going to start in the back, because that's going to be easy for me. What's the answer for this little parenthesis right there? Negative 7. So good. How about the answer for the third parenthesis?
1.
It is 1. How about the answer for the second parenthesis? 2. Now, that is actually an answer. And we talked about it a million years ago. Does anyone remember what it is if it's just an X on the outside? So here's 1, but he looks different than that. It's hard to remember. I'm going to give it to you. 0. And 0 is actually an answer. So, because really what's happening is this. It's 0, it's x minus 0. And so we don't really need this guy, so it's just that. So anytime you have an x on the outside, that's just 0. Does that make sense? Now, watch this. We're going to change this one a little bit. What if this looked like this? It had an x squared. So watch what I'm going to say here. It's just a tiny thing. I'm looking for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 answers because that counts as 2 answers. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So again, -7, 1, 2, and 2 zeros. Does that make sense? Because it's x squared, so there are 2 zeros, right? So that's why I always count, because sometimes I get rolling and I either leave the 0 off or I forget to count that there's 2 of them. Sometimes it might even be x to the 3rd, which would mean there are 3 zeros. Yes?
What if like the x like inside the parentheses was like had an exponent?
We're getting there next. You're so smart. That's where we're heading. Thank you for leading me up to that. So sometimes they are a little bit stickier. So before we get to that question, can you guys try this one? Most of these are pretty easy. Do you remember how to do it when it's got a number in front like that? Here's a hint. It's the opposite of divide and slide. We're unsliding. Remember that? So right now on your paper, write down the 1, 2, 3, 4 answers if you could for me. Write down the 4 answers. Write down the 4. Did you already do it? Oh, stop. We're looking for the 4 answers. So hopefully this should have gone pretty fast for you. That it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. I literally do that. And the reason I do is because that way I don't forget anything. So I got 0 here, yay. I got 3 here, yay. I got -6 here, yay. The next one's a little tricky. Anyone feeling brave? Karen, I feel like you got your braveness. You got 5/2, which was so awesome. Here's what Karen did if I'm talking, and you tell me if I'm wrong. She made the 5 the opposite, right? So she got +5, and she unslid that. 5/2. So good, so good. Do you want to make it 2.5? You can. You want to make it 2.5? You can. I am too lazy to do any of that. 5/2 is perfectly fine. Yeah? So just reminding you, you all know this. Okay, here we go, my lambs. We're going to where Juliana asked. Here's where it gets a little bit weird, but not too bad. So, I'm going to get 4 answers here. How do I know I'm going to get 4 answers? Because I'm counting up all of my x's. So what I have this guy, and 2 of those guys. So at the end, I better have 4 answers. So we're going to start, this is the one piece that's it's not new, we just haven't done it in a while. Let's look at this guy, he's nice and easy. The opposite of +5 is -5, yay. On this guy, nice and easy. The opposite of -2 is +2. But that guy, a little bit weird, it's going to take a drop more work. Here's what we need to do. We're going to say x squared -7 equals 0. We cannot shortcut him. Now, some of you are going to see a pattern, and you're going to be able to shortcut it. I feel like Riley's going to see this pattern, and then after like a day, he's going to never do all the work. But if you don't see that, if you feel like, no, I like showing the work, that's cool with me. Here's what we're going to do. I need to get this guy alone. So I'm going to add 7 to both sides. Are we cool with that? Now, let's see if you remember way back from October. How do I get it from x squared to x? I do a thing to both sides. Anyone remember, Karen? Say it. I square root it. So good. I put the square root guy on this side and the square root side of this guy. So I get x equals root 7. But here's what you got to remember. Whenever we take the square root, it doesn't give us one answer. It gives us two answers. Who's his partner always with square roots? The negative guy. Awesome. So good. There is my fourth answer. Roots come in pairs. They're called conjugate pairs. There's a +1 and a -1. So we're going to get plus root 7 and minus root 7. Can you do the plus minus thing? Yeah, but I really like showing them as 4 different answers. It's just easier for me not to make mistakes. How is that? Is that bad? We okay? Okay. My lobster is nicely done. Let's step up our game a tiny bit. Okay, I love this problem. I'm going to ask you guys to try this one on your own with your neighbors. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm looking for 4 answers, and I'm going to give you a hint. 2 of your answers are going to have I's. Because when you get a square root of a negative, right?
No.
Give it a try. I know, so you were putting it, I told you, it's literally everything we've done all year in one pretty problem. Give this a try. I'm going to do it in a second, but give it a try. See how you do. You're trying this one. If you haven't done it yet, everyone's trying it. If they have, hopefully they're trying this one. King, you got this one done?
Yeah.
Right on. See, that's the good news and bad news of doing the notes already. Some people get ahead. But that's okay. I'm going to give it about 1 more minute, and then I'm going to do it. And you can see how you do. I like this one. This is a cool problem.
No, 6 is the one with the R. This is also negative.
Yeah, but when you move it over, it becomes positive. Yep, that's a great thing to notice, right? So it's counterintuitive. If it looks negative in the beginning, it's not negative at the end. Does that make sense?
So annoying.
Yes, it is. I'm not going to lie to you. It absolutely is. Which is why the shortcuts you have to be careful on. Okay, here we go. So I'm looking for 4 answers at the end. I know that because 1, 2, 3, 4. So here I go. X squared minus 6 equals 0. That's going to be one of the little guys I work on. And x squared plus 7 equals 0. Now, if it had just been x, it's nice and easy. But these are a little bit of a pain in the butt, but we can do it. So I'm going to add 6 to both sides. I'm going to get x squared equals 6. I'm going to think, I got to get that guy. He's got a little bomb. I need to put him in jail. I bring my square root jail in, and what I do to one side, I do to the other. He becomes x, and I get root 6, and I'm super happy. But I remember they come in pairs. So I also have to do this guy. So root 6 and negative root 6. Yay. Can you wiggle if you got those 2? Nice, nice, nice. Okay, here we go. Moving the 7 over. Here's where it gets a little dicey. X squared equals negative 7. I'm still going to do my square root jail, but all of a sudden I realize it's not really appropriate to put crazy people in jail, right? So what I have to do, he's got an imaginary friend. What I need to do is pull his imaginary friend out. I root 7, and his partner is also there as well, negative I root 7. And again, that's why because I can't have a negative inside the jail. There's no such thing as a negative number inside the square root. So that's imaginary. We just yank it out. Talk to me.
But for the last one, it was x equals root 7, root negative 7.
Okay, so here's, that's,
But it's switched to
we're gonna talk about that. There's two different things. There's having a negative outside.
Uh-huh.
That's a positive and negative outside.
Yeah.
There is having a negative inside. The only thing that's an issue with the I is if the negative is inside. So for our answer, check this out. It is I root 7 and negative I root 7. So on the last one, we didn't have to do it because there was no negative inside. Does that kind of make sense? You'll see it more as we practice. And we will practice this more. Okay. Last two. The last two, I don't do the work for you. You have to do it. You have to put it in the parentheses first. This is what we did 2 days ago. So you are going to X factor this, but it's to the third power. What do I need to do before I start?
Take on X.
Suck out that X. Karen is on fire. So you're going to suck out an X, put it on the outside, and then X factor it. Jake, it's super important. This is the key for this month. So I really need you to be writing these down and doing these. This is what we learned from last semester, so it shouldn't be new. So you can try this. I'm hearing some good talk out there. Yeah, awesome. Put that X on the outside, and you're going to get X squared plus 9X plus 18. And now you're totally good to do that thing, right? So here's what, I'm not doing it, but I'm reminding you, you're going to get 3 answers. The biggest exponent tells you how many answers you're going to get. That is the fundamental theorem of algebra that says the biggest degree is the number of answers. So if it's a 2, we get 2 answers. If it's a 3, we get 3 answers. If it's a 5, we get 5 answers. That is literally called the fundamental theorem of algebra. My whole reason for being alive. That's just that. Could you share your answer with your neighbor? I feel like it's so crazy with 11 people gone, we're so much quieter. But if you would share your answer with your neighbor and see if they believe you, you should get 3 answers. Nice, nice over there.
Oh.
Andrew, awesome. Ah, such good conversations. You make me so happy. So here's what I did. I took out my X, and then I said, what are the factors of 18 that make 9? I need 2 numbers that multiply to be 18. Well, when I add them, they make 9. And that's 6 and 3. Thank you so much. 6 and 3. So here's what I have. X on the outside, don't forget him. X plus 6, X plus 3. Now I'm going to take my answers out. Remember, if he's a little guy outside, he's 0. Yay! If it's a positive 6, it'll come out as negative 6. Yay! And if it's a negative 3, sorry, keep messing that up. It's negative. Can I see a wiggle of fingers if you got that? Wow, nicely done. That's impressive. That's really impressive. Last one, best one for today. Okay. This is the whole thing. This is all, sounds like a dad thing to say. It's the whole ball of wax. We need to factor this, and then we need to take our answers out. How do we factor a 4-parter? Show me with your hands. What's the trick? Yep, it's the splitting thing, right? So what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to chop this guy right down the middle. Don't forget when you suck out a -5. That's a little hint from me to you. So go ahead and factor it first. Get it in its parentheses, and then take your answers out. We're looking for 3 answers at the end. 1, 2, 3. Literally, this is like the biggest piece of algebra 1, or algebra 2. freakishly get excited about teaching this.
What do you do with this? What is
Take out the negative 5.
Take out the
Take whatever is right there.
whatever's here.
Yeah. So negative 5, negative 5, watch what'll happen. It'll switch it to x plus 3. Which will make a match. Does that make sense? Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. As always, as you start to finish, share with your neighbor. See if they believe you. See if they're with you. This one has everything. It's got parts. It's got the square roots. It's got everything. It's a problem with everything.
Am I right?
Yes, and we're not allowed to have a
I know.
negative inside, so it becomes odd. It becomes
No,
odd.
for this, you do both the 7 and the, you can't have not two parts.
Okay, so here's, let me go get a pen.
Yeah.
It's so hard not to take people's pens right now.
Like for this.
Okay.
This, for this, and like that.
Right, and here's why, because here's what we got. We got x squared equals 7, right? For the square root, since there's no negative in there, it's just regular. So I have my regular answer, and I have the negative on the outside.
Oh, it's negative on the outside.
Yeah, does that make sense? And the same thing will happen on this one. That's why we get I root 7 regular
Yeah.
and negative I root 7. Everyone, I'm not gonna lie.
Are we
That-
not doing tens together?
I mostly haven't put my boxes back together yet, so I will. But I don't know how I feel about it.
I don't think you should.
I know. Okay, here we go. We ready? Last one, best one. I took out an x squared, and I'm left with x plus 3. Yay. I took out a negative 5, and I'm left with x plus 3. Again, a yay. They match, which makes me so happy. So I'm going to take my matcher and take it out first. I suck it out of here, and I suck it out of here. I'm left with x squared minus 5. I'm so pleased. Now I'm ready to start getting my answers. So I'm going to say, hey, he's easy. Yay, negative 3. This guy, square root guy, he's a pain in the butt. But it's not that hard. It's not like a giant problem. X squared equals 5. Bring in my square root. Bring in my square root. There's one of my answers. There's no I in there because the 5 is positive, but I need a plus answer and a minus answer. And that is everything. That's everything. I am impressed with you guys today. So, I did it again. My goal is to try to finish within, give you 20 minutes to do your homework or 15. Everyone in my first period finished. You can too. The homework is 1 through 15. If you want to try 16, I would think you're awesome, but you can do it. The answer's on the back. The first ones go super fast, so here's how the homework works. On the first ones, I did the factoring for you, and I'm just giving you the parentheses. You just suck the answers out. The second ones, you have to do the whole thing. Number 4 and number 6, I changed the problem around, so you might have some weird answers on 4 and 6. Sorry, that was me. I changed the problems, I forget to change them. But if you finish, then you'll have no homework. Yeah? So you get this done, life will be good. I love Melissa, because you know some freakish requirements for you today.
Yeah, she's annoying.
No, she's not annoying. You and her are oil and water.
Damn.
No lie though, you can easily finish today and have no homework. Check your answers as you go. You'll feel better about yourself. And I am so proud of you. This was not easy stuff. As always, for my friends who are absent, don't forget everything is in this magical thing. You guys gotta let me know how you feel. I haven't put the pens back. I don't know how you feel about the whole COVID thing, but I miss having the pens out, so. Yeah, I kind of feel like what I've heard is that it's called fomite transmission, and you know, you're not you're sharing with another period, and after like it's supposed to be a minute, it dies. Do you know what I mean? So I think you're actually pretty safe to use a pen. So maybe I'll put them out on Monday. If you're not comfortable, you don't have to use them. So, but I miss having them. I miss having them out. But I've been a little weird.
Do you know what the purple pen is?
They are just right there in the alphabet soup. I just put them out. Oh, I can stop taping.